This video is part 4 of Avengers Watched by Death, the fanfiction I'm doing as an alternative to Avengers Endgame. You might want to check out the first 3 parts before coming back to this video. So, let's begin. We start off where we left off, in front of the gates of the new Asgard, as Wong teleported himself back into the Sanctum. Serena, I want you to promise me that if the Sanctum is under attack and I call for your help, you'll respond, Wong said through the portal. I promise, Serena said. With that, Wong shut the portal. I see the sun is shining on this place, Serena said. Is it shining the way you would have envisioned? Thor asked. I don't know what I would have envisioned, Thor, Loki said. So, this is the dead brother you told me about, Rocket asked. I believe so, Thor said. How does that work out? Rocket asked. My take is, before Thanos killed him, Loki performed the blood restoration ritual that allowed him to go through the afterlife rather quickly and return to a new body in a short period of time, Thor said. I am Groot? Well, your new body isn't guaranteed to be like your old body, though I'm told you do return stronger than before, Thor said. Memories are likely jumbled up, Thor said. Okay, well, I'd love to continue the conversation, but I have a feeling we're being spied upon by a peeping Tom. Agent Klein, the pieces have fallen into place. We then cut to the Wakandan kitchen, where Black Widow walked in on Captain America. I take it he's not joining us, Steve said. That's the impression he intended to give, Widow said. But I suspect a change of heart is a matter of when as opposed to a matter of if. Well, I guess I'll have to trust in your confidence, Steve said. Suddenly, Agent Klein walked in. So what's up? Steve asked. We have a visitor, Klein said, as Carol Danvers came into view. Captain Marvel, Black Widow gasped. Who? Steve asked. Agent Romanoff, Marvel said. Captain America. So what brings you here? Captain America asked. Now is the time to help you in your fight against the Mandarin, Marvel said. So what are you capable of? Steve asked. A lot, Widow said. Yes, but I don't believe I should battle the way you see me battling, Marvel said. Why not? Widow asked. Because Thanos still believes I'm stuck in the quantum realm. The what realm? Steve asked. Ignoring Steve, Marvel continued. If Thanos observes me pounding the Mandarin, he could intervene and turn the whole war in his favor. So what do you propose we do? Steve asked. Recruit Thor, Marvel said. You think he's going to respond? Steve asked. Thor recently gained a powerful ally, one whose powers are formidable, Marvel said. He might turn you down if you called him right now, but if you wait a couple days, he will join. You seem distressed, little one, the apparition said. After a time, the apparition continued. I have a feeling you have a few strong words for me. How did you live with yourself? Loki asked her former self. I didn't think much about the lives I took. And what if Thor didn't think about your life? Clearly the two of us grew up with different teachings, the ghost said. You grew up taught to defend the Sanctum. I grew up being taught how great Odin was for conquering the 9 realms. Is it my fault that conquering is a lot uglier than folklore makes it out to be? I live amongst the people you've tried to conquer, Loki said. And if I encounter the Avengers, you're worried that they'll link the two of us together? Why don't you carry around the Mind Stone for a week and not become a different person in the process? You think anyone would accept that excuse? Loki asked. The Avengers answer to those who package genocide in Yemen, the apparition said. Invoke that nation if they confront you. And what about Jotunheim? Loki asked. I'm pretty sure we didn't have the Mind Stone then. The Avengers are not going to bring up Jotunheim, the ghost said. It's not about whether the Avengers could live with that. It's about whether I could live with that. Frost giants are monsters anyway. You're a frost giant. I'm a frost giant, Loki exclaimed. And because you think they deserve to live, you must hate Asgard. What? Loki exclaimed. That's terrible logic. Is it? What did you hope to gain from doing that attack? Loki cried. Peace of mind. It wasn't just that my father left me to die for being too small for them. It was the culture that pushed him to do so. And the Avengers would buy that excuse? We then cut to the following morning with Loki hanging out by a fountain. Thor eventually sat down next to her. Would you like a tour? Thor asked. No, thank you, Loki replied. What's on your mind? Thor asked. Am I ever going to have to face the Avengers? Loki asked. I'm not sure they'll recognize you, Thor said. Not immediately, Loki said. Is this about what happened in New York? New York, Jotunheim, a third or fourth crime I might remember 3 or 4 days from now? I don't even know how I lived with it before Thanos showed up. You know, believe it or not, Thor said, I'm not exactly an angel. Regarding Jotunheim, you were abandoned by them to die, whereas I went on a killing spree against the Frost Giants because one of them called me a princess. Both of us may have been the wrong, but at least your motive was sympathetic, whereas mine was petty. As for New York, the Mind Stone doesn't let you keep your free will, and with Thanos breathing down your shoulder, well, I don't want you to beat yourself up over this. There was a silence. I'm sorry I didn't warn you guys about Thanos, Loki said. Thor paused for a moment. I feel that if we had known about Hela, we could have dealt with her more effectively and likely dealt with Thanos effectively when he arrived, he assured her. You know, your personality seems distinct from how I remember, Thor commented. Rather than thinking of Loki as your former self, think of him as your father, whose memories you happen to be burdened with. Instead of calling yourself Loki Odin's son or Laufey's son, neither of which would make sense today, call yourself... What did you call yourself? Thor inquired. Serena, Loki replied. Serena, Loki's daughter, Thor said. We then cut to Captain America's base, with Bruce Banner looking at the monitor. Okay, Cap, Bruce said. I have a lock on the Mandarin's energy signatures. When Steve took a look at the monitor, he said, Oh God. Pressing a button, Steve waited for a bit before the face of Colonel Rhodes appeared. Cap, Rhodes said. Any insights on the war? Yes, Steve said. The Mandarin is in prime position to assault your base. Prepare for an attack. And that is where this part ends. So, what are your thoughts about this part? Are you excited for part 5? Are you dreading it? What do you think comes next, and how would Endgame play out? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below, and subscribe so that you'll know when part 5 comes out.